good morning.
Good morning, Joe.
What's going on today?
Hello.
Just working from home.
Okay.
Yeah, how are you?
Everything's good. I was doing some looking into it, and it looks like the last time we got together was around this time in 2017.
Oh, man.
Whoa.
Yes. So we're one pandemic down, an album down, all kinds of things down.
Oh, yeah,
Whoa.
oh
It's
my,
like a different world from that time period. It's weird.
it is.
100%.
We're
Yeah.
all still here, though.
Yeah, that's right. And I am getting ready to kind of christen a new thing. I have been asking about the pandemic since it began, and I really interviewed a lot during that time. I think 2025 is going to signal a time where I'm going to get rid of it. I got to move past it, you know?
Hmm.
But it definitely is, and I'm going to ask you about it. I mean, it's definitely something that reverberates. It's kind of like a big stone was thrown into a pond, and those ripples are just undeniable in our lives still.
True.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
Yeah.
but the beauty of that time period, as bad as it was, is that I kept thinking it's going to be so nice to talk to musicians that have new music out, that can tour, that can hop on a stage live. So it's so great. Also, in 2017, no one probably even knew what Zoom was. And if they did and invested in it, they're billionaires now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
Totally.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
but
2017, was that for our album Murphy
that
in
was the
2000?
one, I believe, with the big cat on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Our se
yeah.
second one. And so we recorded a record, our third record during the pandemic,
Yes.
which was a crazy situation because nobody was playing. So
Right.
we had to have enough chops to get through the session. And then now here we are with our fourth. So.
But you know what I learned from the pandemic is that if there was any group of artists that existed on the planet that that time was made for, it was jazz musicians. Because you guys are always thrown into these realms of the unknown and you have to make it sound good all the time. This is just the backbone, the DNA of your creative habitat. So that's what COVID was. It was like, all right, everybody, everything that you know and that you rely on is totally altered. So what do you got now? And
Right.
that's what you all do anyway.
Hmm,
I
interesting.
suppose so. Yeah, I never thought of it that way. I know we've talked to a lot of our own friends and colleagues, and it's a real mishmash as to which musicians kept practicing every day and playing, and how many just hung it up for like a year, like didn't even
Yeah,
Yeah.
touch their instruments. Tara and I treated it as our like it kept us going. It was like our day job.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
Well, I had this feeling when it was going on, really raging in the beginning, just covering music as I had for a while. I really thought big superstars were never going to come back, like Justin Bieber's and all of those people, because, the amount of travel and the amount of chaos that goes on, and all of a sudden it's quiet. And if they
yeah,
fell in love with the quiet, why go back to it? Because they're going to make a ton of money. It's not
yeah,
about them having some level of sustainability. But in the world of jazz, as we very well know, it's like being a blue collar worker. You have to get out and you
yeah,
have to work. You have to pay bills. You have insurance, all of those accoutrements.
for
So,
sure.
yeah, but it didn't happen. I mean, there's probably some people that we aren't even aware of that just decided that it was time to go to an island that no one's going to be able to find them on and just
Yeah,
live their lives out. So,
absolutely. Yeah.
but, uh, but at any rate, it's so great to see you in living color. So thank you for taking a minute out. I appreciate it.
Thanks for,
Yeah.
yeah, including us and taking time to speak with us. We
Yeah,
appreciate it.
I love the new material. So I want to begin as we've kind of talked before we officially got on here. I want to retire the COVID question, but we're still in the last waning month of 2024. So my
Mm.
question to you is, how did you make it through that time period, and how much has it reverberated into even this project and what you do now as artists?
Sweetie, you
Wow. Well, um, as William mentioned during that time, um, we kept playing. It gave us some purpose and focus, and we were fairly productive during that time. I had just started my master's here in Toronto at York University in September of 2019. And so when everything hit in March 2020, I was, almost done my first year. Everything kind of semi fell apart. But when things got back up and running online, then I ended up completing the degree online, and it was a composition degree. And for the final major thesis, but in composition, in the structure of this degree, it was a major work with analysis paper that accompanies it for the final project of the master's. So I started writing for saxophonists that I love, and so two of the four movements from or sketches or whatever you want to call it from my collection, which we did call them suites, but my collection of four tunes for this record, two of them were written during the throes of lockdowns and things as I was working on my master's online.
This is a product of the pandemic.
Yeah.
We never ever thought we'd have any kind of home studio or anything like that. And since then, I learned to write music with first GarageBand, and then I upgraded to Logic, and I ended up doing a whole project of basically Logic music that I farmed out to talented friends that I knew also recorded from home, and then kind of stitched it all together and made a new project called Choices. And so that all came directly out of the pandemic. Never just thought I'd actually put out music by playing it in here and then dealing with all the technology, but it's been super fun. And then also this has become a revenue stream because there's a couple of musicians in town that have an online service, basically a horn section for hire. And this one guy in particular, I've probably done like 12 sessions for him just from here,
Wow.
like yeah. Sometimes clothed, sometimes not clothed. Doesn't matter. I'm at home. So so yeah, no, lots of I mean, it was a tough time on many levels, but I think almost everybody I've talked to, no matter how down they everyone went through a period of mourning or what have you, but I think everyone came to appreciate the time. We all suddenly had time. It was
Yeah.
like a little preview of retirement, whatever that means. So yeah, Tara and I consider ourselves more on the introverted side, so it wasn't too tough, we stayed very active. I was jogging every day, we were outside all the time, and so that sense of I talk about gratitude all the time because we now know what it's like to not have what we have back today,
Yeah.
for better or for worse. Yes, there's face masks, all that stuff, but at least, if you're not feeling well, you can protect yourself and others. Okay, we have this now, it's part of our lives.
Yeah.
It's not exclusively a Japanese or Asian thing. So
Yeah.
I think there's been lots of good and some bad. We've lost uh one relative in particular went down the whole rabbit holes,
Yeah.
and just we lost him, and we actually did actually just actually lost him. He's actually gone now. So
Wow.
Tara's uncle, but he for years was kind of going down that route anyways, and then it just went nuts. Yeah, like full QAnon and all. It was just it was entertaining, and also it's like wow, like Hollywood couldn't write this stuff. It's
Yeah.
insane,
Yeah.
So
It's that notion that truth is stranger than fiction half of the time, you
yeah,
know?
that's it.
So I'm curious, being a jazz musician and being creative is a very right brain business, but getting to a point where you're in kind of a left brain linear mode where you're setting up a studio and all of this equipment, all of these things that are going to allow you to do what you do, has that kind of freed you up a little bit to feel a little bit more creative and a little bit more as though you can do things more than you could before?
For sure. Yeah. Because using software, Logic and all these different recording and technology programs, uh, they come with all these different sounds that it's not just one trombone sound or one saxophone. We know what that sounds like, but now suddenly I can have the universe at my fingertips, and it's just how, and then the level of manipulation within the software is quite astounding as well. So I just, yeah, I think it's wonderful. Like I still sit down from time to time and just start tinkling, and then whatever comes. What, there's no rush.
Yeah.
Um, so
Yeah.
yeah.
So let's get our hands dirty with Reverence here. You had mentioned it being suites and you kind of split it up a little bit, but talk to me a little bit about the overall mood and vibe that you were going for with this album.
Well, yeah, inspirations. Um, as I said, I'd started writing for some of my favorite saxophonists during my um, master's in composition, and I just kept going with that theme. The theme of gratitude, and in this case, gratitude for the inspiration that is given to us from some of our favorite musicians. Also resonated with William, and he started writing. I can't remember when you started writing, actually, William, but somewhat around the same time as I was doing my thing
Mm-hmm.
for the masters, and just kept going with that. And yeah, I mean, as we pursued the recording, finishing up the writing, starting to play the music when things opened up, and we were back playing and got to play with the band again. We were inspired, of course, like with the repertoire that as we worked on it and brought it in and played with our musicians, inspired also by hearing them bring it to life. And we ran with it and finished it out. And, one of the working titles was, with gratitude, because we are so thankful for these inspirational musicians in our lives and the joy. And some of them we've had the pleasure of getting to know a little bit too, and excellent people as well. So I don't know, do you want to add anything, William?
No, I think that's it. I mean, I know we've said this word gratitude so many times, but it's just I think we have a greater perspective. I think most people, at least at some point coming out of the pandemic, did have that perspective. I think a lot of people we knew, especially with those with lots of kids and all that, you're gonna lose that because you're just trying to survive day to day again. But while we were separated and we all had to chill out, especially musicians, because we lost all our work. There
Yeah.
was no work.
Yeah.
Then we had the time to ponder and think about things, those who wanted to. So for Tara and I, that's what we've chosen to focus on. It's just we're fortunate we have a home, we have a good life, we have all this, and music has brought us all of that. And these musicians that inspired us to write this music, they were a big part of it, really. They were at some point inspired us to move forward and with what we want to do. So yeah.
There, there was a show on HBO for a little while called Left Behind, and it was about the Rapture. And
Mm,
I kind of got sucked into it a little bit more because the day of the Rapture was October 14th, and I was born on the 13th. And I was just like, why did they pick that day? Like after I was born. But I was thinking about our lives now. There's like a higher level of consciousness with all of us. We've all been kind of existentially thrown into this fork in the road. Like, what are you going to do?
mm,
How are you going to take this time and do it? Because we all saw mortality around us just totally erode,
yeah,
and it was
yeah,
alarming. I mean, when it all began, Seattle was the epicenter and then Italy was on the radar, but we were all like,
yeah,
what is this going to be? I mean, I remember in 2019 in December, I saw the front page of the New York Times and they showed downtown Beijing and it was empty. And I
yeah,
was like, wow, this is not
yeah,
like something that's going to pass. This is a flood that's coming down a mountain and
yeah,
it's gaining speed.
yeah.
So
Mm.
anyway, I'm curious with your creative synergy together. This is your fourth album. How do you look back in the rear view mirror? Because, when I'm talking about this album, you guys are already moving on to the next thing. That's the weird thing about
Yeah.
journalistically speaking, getting into this. You're already moved past it. You're already a point now where it's like, yeah, we're done. We're moving on. But what my question is that with your fourth album together, how do you look back at each successive album? Is it a growth period? Is it capturing that time? Is it growing as musicians? Is it amalgamation of all of it? How do you compartmentalize each release?
Interesting. I do think it
That's
is an
a good
amalgamation.
question.
I mean, to look back at to listen back to our debut recording, the band is so I mean, it's a newborn. It's a new band. And while we still love it and appreciate it, we also hear how much the ensemble has grown since then. Really just gelled and found its voice. And we've had a couple personnel changes. I mean, that was back in, we started the band in like 2010, and the debut came out in 2012, I think. So we've had personnel changes. The second album, uh, again, we like it very much, and it's a reflection of the music we were listening to, writing, our voices, and what the band sounded like. And then the third record, I feel like maybe the band really sort of settled into something a little more tangible and permanent. Also, record number one, record number two were albums that were a collection of our songs.
Yeah.
We've always done the 50-50 thing, compositionally and what we contribute to the recordings, but yeah, it was a collection of tunes and also our compositions, but a variety of our composition and arrangements for the band and some guest arrangers as well, like because we were newer to arranging. We'd been composing a long time for smaller ensembles, like quartets and quintets, but we hadn't done a lot of arranging for larger ensemble, like our own band that we put together. So we sought out the arranging expertise of some of the people in our community. And so those first two albums, yeah, that's what's going on. Album number three, it's all William and I, compositionally and arranging wise. Plus, we've focused on a theme for that recording. That record number three was all about family, so we wrote to that. And record number four, we really feel like the band has its sound. We have our people, and again, it's thematic. There's a focus to what we've presented, and it's all us again. It's our composing and arranging.
Right on.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think are you a fan of Rush at all? The
Oh
band?
yeah. I mean
Yeah,
Neil
yeah.
Peart. I mean you
Yeah,
have you I mean whether or not you like their music, you have to admire their musicality at a very
absolutely. Yeah.
minimum. They're
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan as well. I grew up listening to Rush, and I think it was a Geddy Lee that said it wasn't really until moving pictures when the like Rush really was born.
Yeah.
They think like that's when it all came together.
Yep.
And for us, we think it was if it wasn't our third record, it was certainly this record, where it's all like Tara said, it's all of our own writing and arranging, and this notion of having a theme. I think this is gonna continue for a while. It's instead of just I'm just here's a tune, here's another tune, and that's fine, and that's what we've always done. But now writing with a story in mind to tell some kind of story, I think is important to us. It helps us anyways, kind of propels the music forward. So that's where we're at. Yeah.
So what are you hoping the listener gets from this album?
Well, some of the tracks, I hope it moves them to maybe like feel it, maybe dance around a little bit. Um, I hope I I hope they get some inspiration from it, whether it's if they're musicians themselves, it inspires them maybe to write something or check out, even for them, inspires a listener to check out the music of the people that we've written for. Um, yeah, I think it's nice when you put something out there and people listen to it and they enjoy it, whether it moves them, it brings up emotions, or physically moves them, makes them want to dance. Um, yeah, motivates them somehow.
Yeah, I think this record has so many different moments, like large and small. That yeah, we hope that a listener will get some kind of emotional jolt from those moments. Yeah, so
So what are you doing for live shows, promotion? What's coming up as we kind of head into the end of 24 and going into 25?
we've kind of I want to say we've gone through that already, because by the time this record's not out, we actually in the summer, late summer into the fall, we did a bunch of shows as a band, like the most we've ever played. So yeah, we played some nice concerts in Ontario. We've gotten opportunities to take this band on the road, but 9 people, really big country with
Yeah.
cities are super far apart. This is unfortunately like where the States, there's a lot of cities or towns and everything. Here it's just you got Toronto, and then you know 6 hours away is Montreal or Ottawa, and then not much in between in
Yeah.
terms of places that really want to listen to jazz. So so that's where we keep falling short. We've actually gotten opportunities to tour several times, but we just can't come up with the grant funding. So
Yeah.
we keep trying, we'll use AI and hope for the best.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I get it.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to get a copy proper, what's the best way to do it to support you? Because we know streaming is pennies on the dollar. Is it Bandcamp?
It is.
Yes,
Yes.
Bandcamp. Yeah, we've got a page there with
Good.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they could pick up any of the 4 releases, and then obviously go to your website, check out socials for anything that might be coming up as the warm months hit us next year. So
Yes.
yeah,
Indeed. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
We
for
are
sure.
we are thinking about our next record already. So
That's what I figured. That's the thing. It's almost like, I don't know. It's almost kind of like a time zone shift whenever I come in. It's like, yeah, we're already on our next thing, just kind of. But it has to give you a fresh perspective on it, because you get so close to the creation of something that once you kind of step away, maybe you'll realize things you didn't realize in the process of thinking about this. So, um,
yeah.
so maybe it was a good rendezvous.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're
Yeah,
right.
definitely.
Yeah. And we do need in between these projects, there has to be some downtime, just not thinking about anything.
Yeah, yeah, I totally get that.
Let it build up again.
Yep, absolutely. Rest is good. Hey,
Yeah.
thank you so much. It's so great to see you in living color. Have a wonderful holiday season, a greater 2025. I appreciate it, and we'll hopefully catch up down the line on the 5th and 6th and down the line.
Thank you so much, Joe.
Thank
Cool.
you so much, Joe.
Thank you. Have a good day. See you later.